Following is a live special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. And unfortunately, I can't put this on YouTube until tomorrow night, but just as we were leaving the stream for the night at the end of our regularly scheduled 1978 Yankee Red Sox replay game, came word of the death of the greatest New York Met of all time, and Tom Seaver. We go back to pay respect to Tom to September 9th, 1969, for a game between the Chicago Cubs and the New York Mets. The Mets were in the process, as you hear tonight's protest march go on behind me, of capturing the world's attention. They were just, well, from 62 to 67, they really were the doormats of the National League. They had shown signs of life in 1968, but nobody going into the 1969 season ever expected the Mets to not only win 100 games, win the National League East, sweep the Atlanta Braves in the playoffs, but they went out and beat the Baltimore Orioles to win the World Series in 5. It would be like the Beatles having a riff-off contest with Frank Sinatra and wiping the floor with them. 1969 was an amazing year for a lot of different reasons. Much like what you hear behind me, it was a year of anti-war protests. That's the year that we made it to the moon and brought Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins safely back to Earth, barely. And, of course, the Jets won the Super Bowl that year behind Joe Namath. And so the kid in Tom Seaver, who would become a household name and a very good broadcaster in his own right, would take center stage as the Mets would storm through. In September of 69, and someone will have to tell me the specific standings on the 9th of September, the Mets were surging past Leo DeRocher's Chicago Cubs. And so Tom Seaver should win his 21st game of the year in this one, as we go back to September 9th, 1969, for the Mets and the Cubs to pay tribute to Tom Seaver. And so luckily we were able to do real lineups for this. Yeah, Sniffle is right, Big Clue. We've done tribute games before, and of course Kobe Bryant being the most recent, well, we did, player that actually saw play. And that was tough because you don't expect your legends to die young. But Seaver was a legend in every sense of the word. And that's just, yeah, that's a tough one. This one's a tougher one for me. Anyway, so exact lineups here for September 9th. Tom Seaver will make 35 starts in 1969, and he was the original Tom Terrific in the sports world. I'm sure Mr. Brady deserves that title, and Tom probably had a lot in common. Seaver, 24 years old, just a baby. 36 games, 35 starts, 18 complete games. Yes, he was the greatest pitcher all time then living. 273 and a third innings, 1,089 batters faced, 202 hits, 75 runs, 67 earned, 24 homers, 82 walks, and 208 strikeouts. Just an amazing number. An ERA at 2.21. Fastball pitcher at 94. And the fly ball. So we're being told, and thanks, Ricky, for breaking that. Coming into this game, the Mets are a game and a half out behind the Cubs. Is this the Black Cat game? Anyway. So Seaver on the mound for the Mets. Here's a lineup he'll face for Leo DeRocher's Cubs. Don Kessinger will lead off at short. Glenn Beckert at second will bat second. Billy Williams, the left fielder, will hit third. Ron Santo, who should be in the Hall of Fame, cleans up at third. Smith at first will bat fifth. George Hickman, will play right and bat sixth. Hundley behind the plate, he'll catch. This is that game. This is the Black Cat game that Seaver took a no-hitter in for the longest time. Oscar Gamble is in center field for the Cubs. He'll bat 8th, and Ferguson Jenkins, who's having a magnificent year of his own, will bat 9th on the mound. Cleon Jones is in left. He's a 6 and a 2. Tommy Agee is a 9 and a 5 in center, and Art Shamsky is a 3 and a 5 in right. Wayne Garrett, a 3 at third. Buddy Harrelson is a 6 at short. Boswell is a 4 at second. Don Clendenin, a late season addition, is a 4 at first. And Jerry Grody is a 7 and a 10 behind the plate. Seaver, a good fielder in 8 range and a .971 fielding percentage. To this day, only Ken Griffey Jr. and Mo Rivera had a higher percentage of first place votes for the Hall than Tom Seaver. Kessinger in 69 would hit .273, 4 homers and 53 RBI. 79 degrees, winds blowing out to the scoreboard in right center at 9. And the pitch to Kessinger is a fly ball, shallow center field. Agee rides the Schwinn, 1 out. Glenn Beckert, .291, a homer, and 37 RBI. Pitch to Glenn. Ground ball, base hit right side. So no-hitter for Seaver. Your Black Cat can stay in the stands. And now I'll bring up Billy Williams. .293, 21 homers, and 95 RBI. Seaver will get the knee dirty here from the stretch. Base hit, center field, going for 2. Throw to Harrelson from Agee, not in time. So I'll bring up Ronnie Santo at .289, 29 homers, and 123 RBI. Seaver a bit nervous, what would have undoubtedly been, at that point, the biggest start of his young career. Came up in late 67, and his last game would be with the Red Sox in 86. Pitch to Santo, popped up, left side, Garrett, 2 out. Willie Smith, I didn't know that one. No Ernie Banks, I'm surprised. Willie at .246, 9 homers, and 25 RBI. Seaver deals. Popped up right side. Shamsky makes the catch, and that will retire the side. No runs, 2 hits, and no errors. Half an inning, Seaver gets through the first. No score. Ferguson Jenkins in his own right. A great pitcher. 42 starts, 43 appearances, and 23 complete games. He went 21 and 15 in 69 with a save. He is a fastball pitcher at 88 and doesn't favor the fly ball or the ground ball. He's only 25 years old. Again, a relative baby. 311 innings. 284 hits. 27 home runs allowed. He walked 71 and struck out 273. And the lineup he'll face is this. Tommy Agee leads off for the Mets in center field. Wayne Garrett at third will bat second. Cleon Jones in left will hit third. Everything you need to know about the Mets offense is who's cleaning up. It's Art Shamsky, for goodness sakes, in right field. Kenny Boswell at second will bat fifth. Don Clendenin, the first baseman, goes sixth. Jerry Grody behind the plate will bat seventh. Bud Harrelson will play short and bat eighth, and Seaver, who threw 19 pitches in the first, will bat ninth. Billy Williams, a 6 and a 6 in center, or left for the Cubs. Oscar Gamble, a 3 and a 4 in center. Hickman, a 3 and a 7 in right. Ron Santo, a 9 at third. Don Kessinger, a 10 at short. Glenn Beckert, a 9 at second. And Smith, a 2 at first. Ernie Banks should be playing there. Hundley is at Randy Hundley, an 8-9 behind the plate. And Jenkins, an 8 on the mound with a .938 fielding percentage. How you doing, Mr. Mao? Missed you earlier. And so the news of Tom Seaver's passing came just as we were signing off for the night. And so, yeah, and Banks was pretty old at that point. So, reuniting the 69 Mets band one more time. Agee at 271, 26 homers and 76 RBI. Jenkins deals, and Tommy slaps out one to third. Sano across the way, 1 out. No, it got away from Smith, and it goes into the dugout. Gil Hodges is cradling that thing like a baby, and Agee with good speed is on second. And that brings up Wayne Garrett at 218, a homer and 39 RBI. Pitch to Garrett. Struck him out. A 1-2 fastball on the outside half. 1 out. And so for the Cubs, this would be the last day they would have a more than a 1-game lead in the National League East. Cleon Jones at 340, 12 homers and 75 RBI. Jenkins deals. Ground ball to Smith. He'll take it to the bag for the out. So Agee moves to third. 2 out for Art Shamsky. Well, Shamsky wasn't a bad hitter. 369, 14 homers, and 47 RBI. Played with the Reds, I guess, at some point. 2 out. Up the middle, Beckert, good fielder, throws to first, and that will retire the side. Error does not hurt the Cubs. No runs, no hits, no, and 1 error. After 1, no score. So Jim Hickman, picture taken in Milwaukee, 237, 21 homers and 338 at-bats, and 54 RBI. Seaver trying to settle in here on a warm night in Queens. Roxon deals. Base hit left center field. Jones will pick it up, and Hickman has a single. Third hit. Randy Hundley at 255, 18 homers and 64 RBI. Seaver deals into right. Shamsky will get it. Hickman's got to scramble back to first, but he's there. 1 out. I would venture to guess, as Oscar Gamble steps to the plate at 225, a homer and 5 RBI, that he did not have hair that looked like that in 1969. Just saying. Pitch from Seaver. Center field, Agee comes in, makes the catch, and Hickman will go back to first. 2 out. Brings up Ferguson Jenkins. Fergie, not a terrible hitter. 139, a homer, and 9 RBI. When the Mets traded Seaver at the deadline in '77, which was ironically the year I went to Shea Stadium to see my first ball game, might have been the worst move in Mets history. Maybe not necessarily for players. I mean, Jim Fregosi for Nolan Ryan doesn't really tickle your fancy either. Pitch to Jenkins. Struck him out. He got him to swing and miss at a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. No runs, no hit, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the second, no score. So Kenny Boswell at 279, 3 homers and 32 RBI. The Mets were contenders in '76. They fell apart late, but they gave the Phillies a run early on for the division title. But trading Tom Seaver for Pat Zachary and a warm bucket of spit was pretty much a worst-case scenario for that ownership, and it took years for the Mets to be right. In fact, I don't think that franchise was right. Yeah, I'm sure, as the Reds fan in the chat says, was much appreciated. It didn't really turn around for the Mets until Seaver came back in '83, and then in '84, some kid by the name of Gooden took center stage, and the Mets were off and running. Super Bowl tournament, how are you? It is a terrible way to go. Dementia issues for Seaver, and judging by how fast it was, you really can't say it's Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's takes years to go through, although usually it's something else that will kill you instead of the dementia. Pitch to Boswell, struck him out, and he swung on and missed a 2-2 fastball. Here's Clendenin. Game over from the Pirates. Okay, it had been going on for years, but only publicly announced last March, so it probably was Alzheimer's. Clendenin at 252, 12 homers and 37 RBI. Johnny Pesky had it. A lot of people get Alzheimer's. And Pesky was as much loved at Fenway as Seaver was in New York. Pitch to Clendenin. Struck him out. Got him on a 1-2 swinging, and there's 2 out for Jerry Grody. At 252, 6 homers and 40 RBI. Seaver, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Here's Grody. Center field, Gamble has it for the out, and that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 2, Chicago nothing, the Mets nothing. Bobby was lucky enough to meet Pesky. So it'll be the top of the lineup for the Cubs here in the third. Seaver, 2 innings, 35 pitches, 3 hits and a strikeout. Kessinger 0 for 1. Pitch from Seaver. Ground ball to Boswell. He'll throw it to Clendenin for the out. 1 out for Beckert, who singled in the first. Seaver had runners in scoring position in the first and got out of it to keep the score sheet clean. He deals. Fly ball, left field. Jones in the corner. And there's 2 out. So 2 fast outs. Seaver finding his A game. Here's Williams. He doubled. Oh, Bobby has an autographed ball and picture with me standing next to Johnny Pesky. Met him in Pawtucket. Number 6 was duly retired by the Red Sox. Don't have a problem with that one at all. Pitch to Billy Williams. A little roller down the Clendenin. Underhands it to Seaver, and that will retire the side. So, no runs, no hits, and no errors. Bottom of the third. And at Shea, no score. So Harrelson, Seaver, and Agee to face Jenkins here in the third. Harrelson at 248. I bet that was close to a high water mark for Bud. No homers and 24 RBI. Jenkins has fanned 3 in a game the Cubs must win. Up the middle, Kessinger to Smith, 1 out. So that brings up the man of the hour and Seaver, 121. He hit 3 doubles and drove in 6. 7 runs. He stole a base. Yeah, he stole a base. He also struck out 34 times. Ricky, can you imagine if WFAN existed in the late 60s? Colin Francesa, how did they let Seaver steal a base? Pitch to Seaver. Struck him out. He swung on and missed a 2-2 fastball. That's 4 for Fergie. So 9 batters, 35 pitches, 2 2/3 innings, and 4 strikeouts. And here's Agee, who's 0 for 1. And there's a pop-up left side. Kessinger has it to retire the side. No runs, no hits, no errors. After 3, we're batching bagels here at Shea. WFAN would have been crazy in the 60s. Oh, yeah. That Namath is a drunk. Get him out of there. Trade him. All right, the ballpark playing big here in Queens. -6 for the lefties batting average. -3 for the righties. But home runs are neutral. -1 for the lefties and even for the righties. Here's Sano. Ronnie's 0 for 1. Pitch, fly ball, left center field. Jones has it for the out, 1 away. Here's Willie Smith, who's 0 for 1. Seaver, for those of us old enough to remember, won his 300th game at Yankee Stadium. He pitched for the White Sox. It was an event day too, or something like that there, and the Yankees, I believe, and George Steinbrenner specifically, allowed Lindsey Nelson, who had retired from baseball announcing, to come back, and he called that game for television, which of course Lindsey called most of, or all of, Seaver's starts with the Mets the first time around. But to do that, A, he was very gracious, but B, to do it for a visiting player, because Seaver was pitching for the White Sox in '85. Pitch to Willie Smith. There's a fly ball to right. Shamsky is there. Has it for the out, 2 away for Jim Hickman, who singled 1 for 1. No word on what kind of sport coat Lindsey wore for that, but I think he shared the same tailor as Don Cherry. Pitch to Hickman. Strike 3, got away. Grody throws it down to Clendenin. And that will be it. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 4th, no score. Vicky Keeler, who is a major baseball historian, says, and you should check out his podcast too. Put that in the chat, Ricky. Phil Niekro gave Seaver a silver bowl after the game for the Yankees. And you have to remember, as Wayne Garrett steps to the plate, he struck out his first time up, that in the Mets' heyday, that their first heyday, 69 to 73, the Yankees really were a second fiddle team. Not only behind the Mets, but you might say 4th in the city behind the Knicks and the Jets. And so it was very nice. Kicking it with Keeler, and you can see the link in the chat. Ricky just passed a major milestone as far as downloads is concerned, so you should listen to Ricky. He's always got good guests on. King George wasn't really as bad at all. He and a bunch of Yankee players donated every year to the Jimmy Fun Telethons. George just wanted to win. And I know the years make George seem a lot easier, but it's just larger in life. Pitch to Garrett. Up the middle, that's a base hit. So, and they get Garrett. No, Garrett was caught off the bag. Kessinger tried to get Smith, and Garrett got back. First hit for the Mets, by the way. And then I'll bring up Cleon Jones. Pitch to Cleon, a ground ball up the middle. Beckert steps on the bag for 1. No throw to first. 1 out. Yeah, Steinbrenner deserves in the Hall. No question about it. No question about it. Imagine, of course, Big Clue we're talking about earlier is doing a Indians what-if replay. If Steinbrenner had been allowed to buy the Indians. Shamsky is 0 for 1. Throw to first, Jones back. 1 out. Bottom of the 4th, no score. Cubs and Mets from September 9th, 1969. Shamsky ground ball to Beckert, goes to Kessinger for 1. No throw to first, 2 out. So they'll bring up Boswell, who's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Mets need some offense. Fergie at 48 pitches, Seaver with 53. Pitch to Boswell. Ground ball to Kessinger, and he boots it! The sure-handed Kessinger booted it. It's off his glove, and that'll bring up Clendenin with Shamsky on second and Boswell on first. Oh no, Wilpon, Loria, and Angelos are all worse than Steinbrenner. Take that from a Red Sox fan. Captain Carl's first baseball game, talking about card and dice, was a 6-team selector set One of them was the Mets, and he still has that scene from '69. At least George would have spelled the name of his first name of his GM right. Pitch to Clendenin is a fly ball to left. Williams in the corner, and he made the catch. No runs, a hit in the air does not hurt. We go to the fifth. Chicago nothing, New York nothing. It'll be Randy Hundley, Oscar Gamble, and Ferguson Jenkins here in the fifth. Hundley's 0 for 1. Seaver deals. Into left field and gone. That got out of here in a hurry. Release the black cat. 387 feet on that shot to left center. And Seaver falls behind 1-0. And that'll bring up Gamble, who's 0 for 1. So you look over on that right field scoreboard. You see where the skyline is up there? And where the... that was the picnic area shot. Right where the skyline is and the Mets logo. Well, for those of us who are old enough, there used to be a giant Mets logo. And what looked like a television screen. Pitch to Gamble. Struck him out. 3 for Seaver. He swung on and missed a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Well, when they built Shea, supposed to be open for the '63 season, but they hit delays and all that with the World's Fair. Yes, the Apple was there, not in '69, but the Apple was there. I believe the Apple went in '80. And it's a new Apple they have at Citi Field. The old Apple got dinged. In fact, you can see the Apple right next to the Pepsi sign. Anyway, back to the right field scoreboard there, where the Mets logo is up top. The original one looked like a replay board. And in fact, it was a replay board. They had a slide projector and a kinescope recorder, because the Mets games were all televised. Pitch to Jenkins, who's 0 for 1. Fly ball, left center field. Back goes Jones, and that is gone. You're not supposed to lose your tribute game, Tom. So Jenkins sends that one into left center, and it's 2-0 Chicago. You're taking away from my story. That ball was crushed. Yep, a homer to an opposing pitcher. The lines at WFAN are already melting down. Anyway, so what they would do is try to, have a color or black and white slide of a player to show up there. So Don Ketzinger 0 for 2. So you'd see Ketzinger's pitcher up there. Seaver, by the way, threw 18 batters, 64 pitches, 4 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 solo shots here in the fifth, and 3 strikeouts. But the wattage on that screen wasn't bright enough for day games, so they really couldn't use it. And so that's why there was a giant Met logo up there. And when the Jets played, that's why there was a giant Jet logo up there. Pitch to Ketzinger, ball 4. So 2-0 Cubs top the fifth. Beckert 1 for 2. Black cat occurred in the 4th inning. So if it came out again, it's reverse luck. That was for a pinch hitter. How far behind were the Cubs in that game? If you're pinch hitting in the 4th, because it was Jimmy Qualls coming out on deck. Pitch to Beckert. It hit him. Well, Seaver's kind of lost the script. Tom, you're supposed to win this game. Got him in the ribs. Ron should have... Ron should have known to manage the Cubs in this one. Williams is 1 for 2 with a double. I don't know about you, Big Clue. Pitch from Seaver. Fly ball to right. Crowd doesn't like that. Shamsky gone. And so it's 5-0 Cubs as Billy Williams puts that one in the seats. And Jack Brickhouse is hey-haying all the way back to Chicago. Do I get a case of old style if I do? And the Cubs the pennant? Here's Sano. He's 0 for 2. Seaver has given up 5 runs in the 5th. Yeah, you gotta believe. That's not till 73, but you gotta believe. Seaver wires. Ball 4. Just Leo's eternal gratitude. Here's Willie Smith. Will somebody please think of the Mets here? Pitch from Seaver. Struck him out. There you go. An 0-2 breaking ball. Right down Broadway. 2 out for Hickman. Jim is 1 for 2 of the strikeout. Seaver from the stretch. Struck him out. He got him. Swung on and missed. A 95-mile-an-hour fastball. And the nightmare inning is over. 5 runs, 2 homers, including a 3-run shot by Billy Williams and a solo shot by Ferguson Jenkins. No, I'm sorry. A solo shot by Hundley and a solo shot by Fergie Jenkins. 2 down, 8 more to go. There you go. We go to the bottom of the 5th. We'll give you an ad. Actually, no, we won't. Not for the tribute game. It's 5-0 Chicago. 5 innings for Seaver, 6 hits, 5 runs all earned, the 3 homers, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. Ferguson Jenkins is throwing a 1-hitter through 4. And so there was 3 homers in the 5th. Hundley with a solo shot, Jenkins with a solo shot, and then Billy Williams with a 3-run shot. Second game of the night for me. And so 5 runs, 6 hits, 2 errors for the Cubs, and Ferguson Jenkins is throwing a 1-hitter. Jerry Grote is 0 for 1. This is not a team that's built to come from 5-0 leads down. Just saying. Pitch to Grote. Ground ball to Sano. Across the way to Smith. 1 out. Brings up Bud Harrelson. 0 for 1. But they all are so young here. So it's Dodger-esque. Hey, it could happen. Pitch to Harrelson. Little number down to Smith. He'll take it to the bag himself. 2 out. And we're not pulling Seaver. He's 0 for 1 with a strikeout. The knee is dirty. That was a thing that, as a little kid, that attracted me to Seaver was his knee always hit the ground. How did he not hurt it? So much torque. Pitch to Tom. Ground ball to Beckert, who makes a diving stop on the grass to throw out Seaver. An absolute web gem to retire the side. No runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the 6th. It's 5-0 Cubs. So Randy Hundley, who homered his last time up, Seaver hits him. Yep, they're all there, the 69 series. Seaver pitched Game 2 in Baltimore and won. And that game is on a kinescope. It's in black and white. The only games of that series NBC saved on videotape were the 3 in New York. And I believed, was that it for Seaver? Kuzman pitched the clincher, right? Or did Seaver pitch Game 1? Seaver probably pitched Game 1. During the quarantine, they replayed the whole 69 series on SNY. As far as I know, and Ricky would be able to tell me, none of the NLCS games against the Braves exist as a whole. I've seen the highlights of Game 3, but I don't think they exist. The radio calls do. Pitch to Hundley. Up the middle for a base hit. So Seaver lost Game 1 and won Game 4. And Kuzman won Game 2 and Game 5. Or pitched in Game 2 and Game 5. But Nolan Ryan was the winning pitcher in Game 3. Gamble is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Hundley's on 7th hit for the Cubs. Yeah, they would have shown him if they did. And those clips from Game 3 against the Braves, which included an Aaron home run, I think all that exists from the first LCSs. I've never seen anything from the Baltimore-Minnesota series. Oh, Ryan saved game 3. Gary Gentry was the winner. Okay. Pitch to Gamble. Pop fly left field. Jones has it for the out. So 1 out for Fergie. Play for the bunt. Clendenin and Garrett come in. And Jenkins strikes out. He swung on and missed a fastball at 94. That's 6 for Seaver. And now I'll bring up Kessinger. 27 batters deep for Tom Terrific. 94 pitches, 5 2/3 innings, 7 hits, 3 homers. Williams, Hundley, and Jenkins. He's walked 2 and struck out 6. Pitch to Kessinger. Up the middle, Boswell goes to Harrelson for the sure out, and that's it. No runs, a hit, no errors. Bottom of the 6th, 5-0 Cubs. So top of the lineup for the Mets here. Jenkins threw 18 batters, a 1-hitter, 5 innings, 68 pitches, and 4 strikeouts. DeRocher continues to do a happy dance in the dugout for Chicago. Pitch to Agee. Slow bounder up the middle. That's a base hit. Second hit for the Mets. Here's Garrett. He's got the other, a single and a strikeout. He's 1 for 2. Ground ball to Beckert. Kessinger for 1 over to Smith, and that's Garrett really. Yep, he grounded into a second double play of the game. Cleon Jones is 0 for 2. Shamsky on deck if anybody should reach. 72 beautiful degrees. Wind's blowing out to right at 9. Don't forget, Harry Harrison with you tomorrow morning on 77 WABC. And Big Dan Ingram will drive you home from 2 to 6. Ground ball to Kessinger over to Smith, and that will retire the side. Well, not the Mets' night. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the 7th. Tom on the hill, 5-0 Cubs. Here's Beckert. Glenn is 1 for 2. He has scored a run. He has singled. Seaver lines and fires. Base hit left center field. Agee will throw it back in, and there's nobody out for Billy Williams, who plunked a 3-run homer in the 5th. Williams would have a run with the Oakland A's at the end of his career, and that's one of those players like, what are you doing in that uniform? Center field, Agee has it for the out. So 1 out for Sano, who's 0 for 2 with a walk. Shamsky, Boswell, and Clendenin after Nancy Jarvis plays the organ. Struck him out. That's 7. A 2-2 swing and a miss on a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. Brings up Willie Smith. No relation to Will, is it? Pitch to Smith. Into right. Shamsky in the corner makes the catch. Stretch time. 5-0 Cubs. Well, Nancy Jarvis on the Shea Stadium organ. Hope you got your wise cheese doodles and a bottle of Rheingold with a 10-minute head. How well does your beer stand up? Rheingold, the official beer of the New York Mets. And don't forget, probably not this late in the year, but 1970, you collect enough Dairy Lee sour cream and milk containers, and you can get bleacher seats up in the upper deck of Shea Stadium. To answer my question as Shamsky steps to the plate, well timed, Mr. Keeler. He was traded from the Mets to the Mets from the Reds before the 68 season. Jenkins starts the 7th. A fly ball to center field. Gamble is there. 1 out. for Ken Boswell, who has struck out. He's 0 for 2. This would not be the first time that a team in a tribute game has lost. Don Shula lost his tribute game too. The 72 Dolphins to the Redskins. You can't win them all, but you can try awful hard. Pitch to Boswell. Ground ball to Beckert over to first, 2 out. Or 1 out. No, it went away. How about that? A bad throw. Smith had to leave the bag to do it, and Boswell's on. The third error for the Cubs. And that'll bring up Clendenin, who's 0 for 2 with a strikeout. I suppose if you looked at some other big games for Seaver over his career, in 1970, he had a game against San Diego where he fanned the last 10 batters he faced. He struck out 19, which was a National League record. Imagine that, striking out 10 batters in a row. Pitch to Clendenin, ball 4. So I smell a rally here. Here's Grody. He's 0 for 2. And of course, after being traded to the Reds in 1977, he promptly goes out and no-hits, I believe, the Cardinals in 1978. Pitch to Hundley and Jenkins trying to get on the same page. Jenkins delivers. Grody a slow roller to Kessinger. Beckert for 1, and that's it. So Boswell on third, and Grody on first. Tony Porter, by the way, and I forget his YouTube name, is doing a 69 Mets replay using payoff pitch. So you should check out some of that and some better outings by Tom Seaver. And what you got tonight? Buddy Harrelson's 0 for 2. Can they get a run in here, please? Pitched it from Jenkins. Struck him out. So that is it. The Mets leave 2 on. No runs, no hits, and then 1 error after 7. 5-0 Cubs. So last inning for Seaver, because he'll lead off the 8th. 5 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Cubs. They've left 6 on. Ferguson Jenkins has allowed just 2 hits, and he struck out 5. Jim Hickman is 1 for 3. He has struck out twice. Nobody cared that I said please. It's kind of like arguing with my cat. She's going to do whatever she wants. And Paul Popovich is going to pinch hit. So Popovich hitting .312, a homer, and 14 RBI. And that's a ground ball to Boswell by the bag at second. Over to first, 1 out. So Hundley homered in the 5th. Cubs got all 5 runs in the 5th on 3 home runs. Hundley strikes out. That's 8 for Seaver. A full count inside corner. And Seaver just kind of glares. Here's Gamble. Let's see what the Cubs do here. He's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. So if you take away the bad 5th, he didn't allow a run. But we have to count the 5th, and he allowed 5. Gamble. In the left field, Jones makes the catch, and that will retire the side. So Seaver gets a standing ovation. As well he should, as he leaves the mound. And George Thomas Seaver, thank you for everything. 311 wins. And the face of a franchise that is well deserved. Hugs for Seaver. As I see who can hit a righty here. And it's going to be, oh dear Lord, this team couldn't hit at all. Eddie Charles. Do its righties at a 239 clip, 207, 3 homers and 18 RBI. As we start the 8th, Agee and Garrett to follow. Charles in the left, Williams, 1 out. Spangler is in right field. For the Cubs 4-4, Al Spangler would play off the bench at the end of his career. Agee 1 for 3. Jenkins threw 27 batters, 95 pitches, 7 2/3 innings, or 7 1/3 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. And Tommy sends that one to center, and it's going to drop in front of Oscar Gamble. So that'll bring up Garrett, 1 for 3. He struck out and grounded into a double play and singled. The pitch. There's a ground ball to Kessinger on the bag by himself for 1, and that's it. On the move, picked it up just before it hit the grass, and he ran to the bag for the second out. Here's Cleon Jones. He's 0 for 3. Jenkins has thrown a doozy. He's only allowed 3 hits. Jones to Beckert. Another great stab. He throws to Smith, and that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. We go to the 9th. And who's going to pitch? Righty, switchy, or righty? Ron Taylor coming in. He made 59 appearances for the Mets in 1969. He's a ground ball pitcher, a fastball pitcher at 84. And the heart of that Met bullpen, 9-4, with 13 saves and an ERA of 2.72. In 76 innings, he allowed 61 hits, 7 homers, 24 walks, and 42 strikeouts. So Jenkins, and the computer pulls Jenkins here, there's going to be Harry Carey, and he's still, that's the year that Harry was in Oakland. Jenkins had that solo homer in the 5th. He's 1 for 3. Struck him out. Fastball on the outside corner. And that's 3 for Jenkins. Brings up Kessinger, who's 0 for 3. He has walked and scored. Scored on a 3-run homer by Williams in the 5th. Little roller to Boswell on the grass in front of the bag. Over to Clendenin, 2 out. If the Mets are going to pull the miracles, Shamsky, Boswell, and Clendenin need to start it. Beckert is 2 for 3. Glenn has singled twice and scored a run. Base hit, right side. Shamsky picks it up. Here's Billy Williams. Has doubled and homered. Drove it. That 3-run shot in the 5th was big. Ball 4. I'm just getting a note here that Leo DeRocher would like me to manage the rest of the Mets games in 1969. Tain't happening, McGee. Here's Ronnie Santo. He's 0 for 3. A walk and a strikeout. Taylor and Grody will have a conversation. And the pitch. It's line drive, foul, first base side. Somebody from Staten Island who's a big Mets fan made that catch. And the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Pitch to Ronnie. Got him! 1-2. He swung at one out of the zone, and that will retire the side. A run, no runs, a hit, and no errors. Bottom of the 9th. 5 to tie, 6 to win. And Jenkins thrown a 3-hitter. So here's Shamsky, Boswell, and Clendenin. Art is 0 for 3. Pitch to Shamsky. Ground ball to Smith. 1 out. Well, it's not going to turn out the way unless the Mets have a miracle wrapped up in an enigma wrapped up in a novena. But kind of a bummer. I really wanted to show just how special that Met team was in '69. I know it's part of lore now, but remember, they beat a team in the Orioles that won 108 games and I believe won the division by 20. There's rumors of a billy goat in the dugout. Cubs could break a mirror, I suppose, as Ricky says. Boswell's 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Ground ball to Beckert, 2 out. And here's Clendenin, who's 0 for 2, with a walk and a strikeout. Gone! That hit the foul pole in left field, and it's 5-1. At least they won't get shut out. Clendenin just absolutely smashed that ball. And all Williams could do is turn and watch it go. So that'll bring up Jerry Grody, who's 0 for 3. 5 runs, 9 hits, 3 errors for the Cubbies. They've left 8 on. 1 run, 4 hits, no errors for the Mets. They've left 6. Pitch to Grody. Base hit left field. And so Grody's on a 2-out single for Bud Harrelson, who's 0 for 3. So Jenkins now at 115 pitches. Trying to get out of this one. Someone want to take the champagne away from DeRocher? Pitch to Harrelson. Ground ball to third. Sano across the way, and the Cubbies win the ball game. 5-1. Well, really not what we were looking for here, but it does happen. That is the nature of doing replays and one-offs and all that. That history does not repeat itself all the time. Ferguson Jenkins, 9 innings, 5 hits, the home run to Clendenin in the 9th, a walk and 5 strikeouts. Under normal circumstances, he would be our MVP, but you know it's going to be Seaver. 8 innings, 8 hits, 5 runs, all earned. The 3 homers that all came in the 5th. 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. More importantly, 311 career wins. A World Series ring with the Mets in 1969. A return trip in 73. And a top-notch announcer. He actually had to replace Joe Garagiola on NBC's last year Game of the Week in 89. And just a standout guy. And I believe he has a statue, doesn't he? Or they didn't want to... I knew he couldn't make it for that. I thought he had a statue. And honestly, when you think of the Mets, you think of Seaver. Not built yet. Okay. And for those of us under the age or over the age of, let's say, 40, he really was the face of the franchise. I know you can add Gooden and Strawberry, and Seaver had connections to them all. He really, really remained faithful to not only the city of New York, but the Mets. And so under tough circumstances, to try to do this with almost no notice and maybe pick a game he should have won, that's it. And so as Captain Carl says, thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm not the only person who watched from afar that just marveled at what he could do. And he did it for so long, and he did it for so well, and he did it with class and that. And yeah, he did the Mets games with Gary Cohen on Channel 11, and actually did a bunch of games when you were, maybe before you were born, Ricky, on MSG, did Yankee games. Gary Thorne, yep. So Seaver did a lot of TV. He was just good at it. But he was pretty much good at anything, and he was also good at growing wine, which is what I believe his passion was. So whether he was a pitcher for Southern Cal or for the Mets, we're going to miss Tom Seaver a great deal. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you very much. Good night.